Security analyst Ambrose Igboke joins me for more on this development. Thank you so much for joining us on TVC News this hour. President Buhari has ruled out military force that in order to rescue the Abuja Kaduna victims. But then it said that the military force are doing so well. So ruling out this, the option of military force, what do you make of this? Do you think that's the best thing to do?
It is not the best thing to do. In the fight of against terrorism, which is an asymmetric warfare, there has to be all options on the table. You cannot rule out any option on the table. All options have to be on the table because you are dealing with a group of people who are not in a conventional warfare, who do not respect protocols of warfare, who do not have any rules of engagement except their own rules. Therefore, we cannot play with their own terms. We have to give our own terms as a country that is ruled by the Constitution, as a country that is empowered by one of the best military forces in Africa, as a country that have what it takes militarily to rout out these terrorists. Therefore, I'm not with the president on this. All options must be on the table. The use of force is a legitimate means of, forestalling or stopping this kind of acts by the terrorists. First of all, it is the deployment of military sophisticated hardware, especially the use of modern technologies like drones, like GPS mapping. For example, these terrorists negotiate ransom. They go to pick up ransom from families, from people. How are they communicating? They are using a kind of, if it's not the GSM, they are using some kind of phones. We have been able to link our main with the GSM lines. Why have they been able to track their calls? If they are not using Nigerian GSM, and maybe they are using foreign GSM, we can also track it. Therefore, all options must be on the table. Use the tracking method, you can get it. For example, the warlord in Angola, Savimbi, those days, was tracked down through calls he was making in the deep of the forest. And they tracked the cause for so many days that they were able to isolate him and his men and were able to take him out in Angola. That happened. Historians will know about Savimbi. Also, people who are really invested in history will remember the Entebbe raid in Uganda, where Israeli forces used force, military force, to save almost all the victims of a hijacked airplane. That was in 1976. We are talking about almost 50 years ago.
Right.
So
Very quickly.
We're not talking about military force is not on the table here.
Yeah, Mr. Igboke.
It's an option that should be on the table.
I think the reason why the president is ruling that option out is because of the fact that there might be a collateral damage. And even though we want to stem the tide of insecurity, we also want to have our families back, those who are captives in the den of the terrorists. That's one. And the other one is the president praising the security agencies, the police, the Nigerian army, and every other security personnel who are working to secure Nigeria, that they've been doing well since he has given them that command. He's given them the go-ahead to ensure that they stem the tide of insecurity. So do you see this yielding results already?
First of all, there's what we call precision strikes. That was what was used to take out Osama bin Laden, that no other member of the family was hurt, but only him. So precision strikes are legitimate means, and they are available for in the Nigerian armed forces. We're able to buy it from the international market because we're a sovereign nation. So precision strike can be used to reduce collateral damage. So these are things that you can use from anywhere angle above the sea level. You can use to target any target on ground, and it is the target only. So these things should be deployed. And drone strikes also can reduce collateral damage. So we can explore these options instead of ruling it out totally. And in terms of the military doing well, in the last few weeks, we have seen a raft of activity where a lot of arrests have been made, a lot of eliminations have been done, and some leaders of the terrorism group have been eliminated. So we should give kudos to our military, but again, we should allow our military use all the, ruling out force. When the military knows when to use force, I think they should be allowed to use force and use precision strikes to reduce collateral damage.
Right.
That's what we should be tending up to, and not to remove it entirely.
All right, security analyst Ambrose Igboke, thank you so much for your insight.